Hey and welcome to lesson 5 in this free course where I teach you how to read sheet music on the guitar. So I will take you from beginner to advanced in how to read music notation, and eventually the goal is that you'll be able to read and play by sight reading, meaning you can play it and read it right away. Okay, let's jump right into it and get started. So in this lesson we are going to introduce you to eighth notes. So you can see here notes, eighth notes and rests. So previous lessons we've been looking at whole notes, half notes and quarter notes. So as you know, a whole note is 4 beats, whole note is 2 beats, quarter note is 1 beat. Now for eighth notes, you play 2 notes in 1 beat. So that means you go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's 2 notes in every beat. So if I played just 1 note on the guitar, it would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or if you imagine my snap of my finger is a beat, it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So what we're going to look at is we'll be covering the same notes that we've learned so far. So the notes we need to know is G, F, and C. So if you're still not familiar with those notes, go back and watch the previous lessons so you can be brought up to speed. Alright, so let's jump into it. Let's start with exercise 113. So let's first look at the notes itself. So if you can see here, the notes on 113 is G and E. Okay, and they are eighth notes. These are eighth notes here. And then it ends on a quarter note. So this will go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so let me play this slowly with you. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So notice that last note is a quarter note that goes for the whole beat. The previous notes are eighth notes, so you play the 2 notes per beat. Okay, so try that one more time. Let's play it together one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, now let's go to the next one. 114. Now we're covering F and D. So F and D notes. So as you remember, F and D. So let me show you on my screen as well. So the F note and the D note. F and D. So let's go back. F and D notes here. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that last note is a longer note, right? Because it's a quarter note, so it's longer. Now, another thing is, when you play these notes, you want to pick down and up. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Because the eighth note, that's on the and. So the second note is on the and. 1 and, 2 and. So the note on the beat, we pick normally down. And the note off the beat, we pick up. This way, you can play it faster and you can play it easier. So just think of it that way. Go down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so that's number 114. Now let's go on to number 115. So the notes we have here is G and E. So there's 2 bars now, G and E. And then second bar, we got D and F, and last one is C. So as you remember, the C note is a half note, so it goes for 2 beats. So let's try this one together now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so try this a few times on your own. Just pause the video and try to play it a few times. It might take a while for you to get it. So just take it slowly, play it slower at your own pace until you get it, and then you can try to play along with me. So that's number 115. Let's move on to the next one. Next is 116 here. So the notes we have is E and C, right? So E and C. So let's play this one together. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, that's 116. Let's move on to 117. So now we have 3 bars. So you can see we got G, E, G, E. Then we go F, D, F, D, F, D, F. Then the last bar we have E, C, E, D, C. So notice that it starts with an E. We go to a C because it's between those lines. It goes to a E again, and then goes to a D because that's on that 4th line. So notice the difference between the C and the D. They are sitting on a different point on the stave. So the C is between the lines, the D is on the line just above, right? So just take a note of that. Make sure you can see that clearly. Okay, so now let's play this slowly together and just try your best to follow along. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So notice there, the last note was a half note, so that was 2 beats at the end. Okay, let's try this one more time now. Let's do it all together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay. Now that you're getting into more advanced exercises, it's important to read ahead. So you want to kind of start looking at the notes ahead of you playing them. So you can see here, these are all G, E, right? The whole way through. So you know the notes. So you know it's G, E, G, E, G, E, G. So as you know that, when you play it on the guitar, get ready for the next part, F and D. So as you play G, E, look ahead and look at the next bar so you're prepared to play those next notes. Because if not, you kind of get surprised and you might mess it up if you're not prepared for the next notes that's coming. So keep that in mind when you read music. You have to always read ahead of what you're playing. So let's say you play these notes, you're already looking at the notes over here. Get ready for the next notes ahead. All right. Now let's go on to the next exercise, 118. So now we're getting a bit more complicated, slowly more and more complicated here. 118, now we're looking at, let's look at the notes. G, E, G, E, F, D, F. Then we have F, D, F, D, E, D, C. Okay. So take your time, read the notes, make sure you can recognize the notes right away without having to think what the notes are. You want to be able to recognize the notes right away in an instant. Just like you read words on a page when you read a book, same thing with the notes, you want to be able to recognize them right away. So take time practicing that as well before you even play it on the guitar. So now, let's try to slowly play this one together, 118. All right, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let's do that one more time. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so now let's go on to exercise 119. We were looking at the next set of notes. So let's check them out. So we have on this exercise, we have G, E, F, D, E, and D. So notice here, we have 4 eighth notes. So that goes, remember that goes 1 and 2 and. Then we have two quarter notes, 3, 4. So the eighth notes are shorter, 1 and 2 and. The quarter notes are longer, 3, 4, okay? So keep that in mind when you play this. So the notes are G, E, F, D, E, D. Then we have G, E, F, D, C. Okay, let's try this together. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and rest. So notice here we end on a rest. So that means we need to mute the strings when we get to that last beat. Because a rest means we stop the music, you stop the guitar from playing, you stop the piano from playing, the drums, etc. Everything stops for one beat only. So it's silent for one beat. That's why a rest is. So that's why we need to rest on the 4th beat of that second bar. All right, let's try that one more time together. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and rest. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson. So take your time now, rewatch this video, try it a few times. This might take a bit of practice to get good at, especially the timing and changing between eighth notes and quarter notes. So take your time with this, recognize the notes, get good at reading ahead. And if you're still struggling, go back and watch the previous lessons just to revise and get better at the notes before you attempt these exercises in lesson 5. But yeah, keep practicing, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.